So I watched Creed 3 yesterday, and I think there was a lot of things that I really liked, but overall it kind of seemed like a formulaic sports movie. It's the first ever feature film that Michael B. Jordan has directed, and I think he does a lot of things interesting in terms of like a fresh perspective for a really crowded genre, and I think that especially in the boxing scenes, there's a lot of really interesting visual shots in it. And while this is the first movie in this franchise that doesn't have Sylvester Stallone as Rocky in it, I actually kind of like that direction because it really focuses on Adonis's story, which really helps this feel like it is a Creed movie and not a Creed plus kind of movie. One of the main thematic elements is how Adonis needs to address his past because if he doesn't, it really affects everybody in his circle, like his longtime friend, played by Jonathan Majors, his wife, played by Tessa Thompson, also his kid. So you could see how this affects everybody really in his life. Him just like shoving down this pain. So a lot of the story is him just trying to move forward while trying not to abandon his family and what's important to him. And for the most part, the movie does execute that in a pretty good way. However, there are a few like times where things will come up that doesn't really get resolved later, which I wish they would have spent even more time with it. At the end of the day, though, there are just a lot of your typical sports movie tropes in this. It's a lot of cliches that we've seen time and time again. Even within this trilogy, it just can't escape some of the same things that it keeps doing over and over, which a lot of those things can be fun, especially the first few times you watch them. But after you've seen them 3, 4, 10 times, it's kind of like, okay, let's do something new here. I will say though that the film is very emotionally impactful, even if it does kind of teeter into that melodramatic space where, it's kind of like overly corny and the melodrama can kind of override some of the really cool character work they're doing, particularly on Jonathan Major's character. But at the end of the day, it still is really emotionally impactful. So there's that. I'd recommend watching it, and I'll give Creed 3 a 7 out of 10.